Hello, and welcome. I'm your host, Eric Talon87. I'm glad you could join us. We are about to begin our very first episode of PlanetSide 2 Rise Through the Ranks, a series to show new players how the very best of players began at the very bottom. Here we go. Okay, so we have an application into our old outfit. Hopefully they'll recognize our name and let us in. So this rifle is, I call it the sledgehammer, because it really is a sledgehammer. This, as far as I know, this support rifle does the most damage of any of the support rifles. It also bucks around a lot. It is accurate, and it has a slow rate of fire. It has a slow rate of fire because it'd be completely uncontrollable otherwise. And the problem is, people are like flies, and it sometimes can be hard to hit a fly with a sledgehammer. That's the only thing I have against it. But the trade-off is when you do hit the fly, well, it does a pretty darn good job. So it's kind of one of those high-risk, high-payoff weapons. There, see? Boom, fly goes down. It's like, yeah, that sure clipped that fly's wing. It is great against these maxes. Because, okay, so, oh, well, that was our buddy of mine. Thanks, buddy. It's like, see, so at 10 meters, this thing does 200 damage. And if you go under the other weapons, let's see here. See, this does, at 10 meters, 167. This does 143. 167. 167 is like the standard for the new conglomerate. And then 143 is the lower end of the new conglomerate, and 200 is the upper end of the new conglomerate. From what I know, the new conglomerate guns do the most damage per bullet, but they fire the slowest. See, I can put a guy down in 2 or 3 headshots. Like that headshot, that took away like half or 1/3. Okay, so they're also very accurate weapons. Ooh, got 100 surge points just like that. Whoa. Oh, it's just a body. It's not a head. So, we're playing the heavy assault. This is probably one of the most powerful beginning classes you can play. So this is good. You got a lot of ammo. You can spray. You can pray. You can do a lot of praying, and you can do a lot of spraying. This gun, you tend to want to fire in bursts. You want to fire in bursts of 3 rounds. After 3 rounds, it really starts spreading out. And after 5 or 6, you really can't hit much. So you want to tap in long spurts. So here we go. See, that's a short burst, but a longer burst, it really starts spreading out. It takes a long time to reload this gun. So if you're in combat and you run out of bullets, it sounds counterintuitive, but draw your pistol. The pistol for the new conglomerate, the default pistol for the new conglomerate is an excellent pistol. I have kept trying to convince myself there is a better pistol around, and I have just not found it. Now, there are pistols, of course, that are superior in damage output, per shot, things like that, but the new conglomerate pistol is just the best balance, the most powerful and the most powerfully balanced pistol of them all. So when we ask the mirror on the wall, you gotta really specify your parameters. So when you ask for the best balanced pistol of them all, it's definitely going to come up with this one. Now, there are pistols that do a ridiculous amount of damage. In fact, there's some pistols that are substitute sniping rifles, okay? But they only hold 4 shots. The new conglomerate pistol holds 15. That's right, 15 shots, and it's doing the same amount of damage as the rifle I'm carrying. It does 200 per hit. So 200 per hit. Now this is at close range, of course. Yeah, that fly felt that one. 200 per hit. Okay, 12 rounds left. Now there's no point reloading the 12 rounds because those 12 rounds, see, I killed a max. Now go to the pistol here. We are doing the same amount of damage as the rifle, and we reload just like that. Ka-ching, ka-ching. You're reloaded. Now that we've kind of cleared it out, well, let's clear the wall because enemies are going to come over the wall. Now we'll kind of sit back and reload the rifle. Now, if somebody surprises you while you're reloading the rifle, just flip to your pistol. Again, the pistol does as much damage as this death damage dealing rifle you're carrying. The pistol is good. Now, where the pistol has the disadvantage on rifles, where the rifles have advantages over the pistol, is this longer range. The pistol will not be doing that much damage way out at the longer range. But as far as defending yourself while you're reloading, the pistol is just absolutely great. It's also good for tracking down snipers who are cloaked. Alright, so we have 100 certs. The first thing I recommend is getting a optic. Now, sometimes you don't want to get an optic because it shows you just how much your rifle is shaking around. But that's okay, we'll do it anyway. Here we go. Okay, so I like the red dot optic. Oh, now one thing you gotta be careful. Once you purchase the optic, don't click here again. So you're down here on the menu, go up to the top of the menu, and that's where it puts your purchased optic. It's a little confusing at first, but it does get really convenient. So the optic is not equipped. You got to click, and when you have that dot in there, that means it's equipped. Alright, so that's going to be our first purchase. Now, for our rifle is going to be the optic. Now, for our pistol, one of the things we do, the suppressor is good. The suppressor is good, but it's more for the advanced stages when you're a little bit better player. Don't worry about the suppressor for now. It's a good thing. It's nice when you're out of ammunition and you have to draw your pistol. It's nice not to broadcast your location because it makes it harder for the enemy to hear you. But if you're a new player, those nuances aren't really going to help you much. So what you want is either get a laser sight or a dark flashlight. Now I'm gonna go for the dark flashlight here. The laser sight helps. We'll go into the virtual training later, and I can show you all the options and why we chose what we chose. But for now, let's just get the dark light. So what the dark light is, and this dark light purchase is great because it can go on every class, go and equip it on every class. So let's start at the top because I lose track. And it's really nice to have it on the pistol because no matter where you go, later on, when you learn to hear that sound of a hunter cloaker or of a cloaked adversary, you'll begin to recognize it, and no matter where you are, you can just flip out the pistol, find them, and it really takes away their cloaking, and it really allows you to make their life just absolutely miserable, which is all about what it's worth. Alright, so one thing to bear in mind here with this game, this is not about, ooh, got that fly, boy oh boy, you see that? Boom, but see, missed the next guy, but that's okay, we're getting revived by the medics, so just hang on here, we're getting revived. Oh, medic went down. Oh, well, medic's getting back up by the other medic, so maybe he'll get me up. There we go. So just hang on here till they revive me, and then say accept, and then don't stand here. Oh boy, look at that. 2 guys just like that. Boom, boom. Yeah, see, that's the hammer is great when you actually hit stuff with it. The hammer is it. But again, a lot of times you miss because the hammer, it's a hammer. However, I'm probably much better at this than when I first started. So if you don't get these results with this weapon, don't worry too much about it. One of the big mistakes I made when I first got this weapon is I put a magnified optic on it, and that's why I really like the red dot. Don't put a magnified optic on this weapon. It really jumps around too much for magnified optics. If you're going to be shooting at longer ranges and you know how to tap it to just get one shot off, it can basically, this weapon can counter sniper rifles. But the way I use it to counter sniper rifles is not to counter snipe, but to give suppressive fire. Okay, so let me explain our role a little better here. So you kind of have to quote Daffy Duck, know your role. So, as a support personnel, we are equipped with heavy weapons, and this is fabulous. We have the potential to be the most deadly infantry. This is going to ruin their day. The most deadly infantry unit short of a max, and a max is technically a vehicle. So we are the most deadly infantry unit in existence. Now, what our job is first of all blowing stuff up, like that Sunderer. Okay, now we're going to mark that Sunderer where we died, and we're going to make our way back over to it. And here comes another fool Sunderer, so like lambs to the slaughter. Ooh, we got revived. Accept it. Tell the medic thank you. Thank you, medic. That's number 4 to do proximity blast. Even if you die again, tell the medic thank you. It really makes everything worthwhile to them. Yeah, really. Now, you saw when I had the rocket launcher equipped, I went straight to my pistol. If you have your rocket launcher, and especially if you have fired your rocket launcher and you're currently under fire or you see an enemy in front of you, don't flip to your rifle. It takes a long time to get the rifle out. Okay? So the pistol is always faster to equip. So, whoosh, and we're ready to go. But with the rifle, see here, it's like 1, 2, there. 2 seconds. But with the pistol, it's 1, and there we're there. See, half the time. So equip your pistol. The pistol is no slouch. Now, it doesn't do that much damage at distance, but it is still no joke at distance. It's still a hammer. It may be a small hammer, but it's a hammer nonetheless. Now, what we want to the first thing we're going to, let's see, check this out. Let's see if we can. There, wow, see, look, boom, baby. Yep, boy, that fly's gonna have to crawl a long time before it even finds its wings. Now, hopping into a random Sunderer like I just did is really kind of like playing Russian roulette. You never know who you're gonna get. And it could be a good driver, it could be a bad driver, but Sunderers love gunners. Okay? Now, if you happen to get a Sunderer who won't let you in or who hates you gunning, just go find another Sunderer. He's like the 1.1% exception to the entire game. Generally, Sunderer gunners love gunners. There, we got some credit. We got all the credit for blowing those guys up. The guy driving the Sunderer gets all the credit. They like gunners. Now, what you don't want to do is you'll encounter what they call a cloaked Sunderer. Don't shoot the guns when the Sunderer's cloaked. If you shoot the guns, the cloaking field dissipates, and so it kind of counteracts the cloaking field. And so that's the one exception where you don't really want to shoot. The other thing you kind of want to be aware of with the Sunderer is, especially when you're moving into enemy territory and that you don't have a lot of allies, when you fire the guns, it broadcasts the Sunderer's location. So if the enemy is looking for you and they can kill you fairly easy, you're basically signing your death warrant and the death warrant of the Sunderer and everything else. So you want to use the guns mainly as a self-defense role. So you don't really want to shoot at stuff that's not shooting at you, or unless you have a good opportunity to do a lot of damage. Okay, so they stopped. Let's get out and let's go see what mischief we can cause the enemy. All right, now here's another thing. Now, I still do this. Don't run into combat. Now, I know the pressure's on. You want to get in there. You want to help your buddies. You want to, save the princess. Well, first of all, there's no princesses, okay? Unfortunately. And secondly, your buddies don't need saving. They're just fine. Thirdly, it's like we're not in a rush to die. So but this is what I call it. Don't be in a rush to die. Walk. This is where handling this hammer is at an incredible disadvantage with other weapons. Because this rifle is so massive and does such a great job at dealing out the damage, it is not what the game calls mobile. So what it means is, it's like when we draw our pistol, it takes 2 seconds to equip the rifle. There are rifles that equip a lot faster than this rifle. They, of course, don't do the damage, they're smaller, they're lighter, yada yada yada. But the point is, this rifle is not mobile. It's the default rifle, so if you're beginning this, you'll have to deal with it. So the rifle is not highly mobile. It can't switch between stances and stuff. And that's okay, because it makes up for everything with its devastating firepower. But you need to be aware of this, so when you're taking an enemy position, all your buddies will be running. And that's okay for them to run, because they have a lighter rifle. And of course, if you were handling one of the other classes, you'd have a lighter rifle too, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But we're explaining how to use the heavy assault. So, with this rifle being so heavy, okay, we're going to switch roles and defend the Sunderer. If these tanks get to the Sunderer, this whole offensive is over. So this is the role of the heavy, is to take out vehicles. Okay, so we're talking about the role of the heavy, and we're talking about how to use the default machine gun of the heavy assault. Alright, so walk towards enemy positions. It's okay to run a little bit. There's nothing wrong with running, okay? Don't get me wrong. But if you see an enemy and then you try and equip your rifle, basically, it's not a fast draw weapon. That's a good way to put it. It's not a good fast draw weapon. Okay, the rocket went too low. It's easy to aim the rockets too low and the rockets too high. You got to really work on it. Don't worry about missing. It's okay. You'll just learn it. Just keep on trying. No, not a problem. Yeah, ruined his day. Let's ruin that Sunderer's day. Boom, baby. Okay. We need to go find an engineer, find a source of... See, now I'm running it as all get out. Now, if I meet an enemy here, I will not win in the quick draw. So this gun will not win in the quick draw. So I re-equipped myself, so I got full rockets. You only have 5 rockets to begin with, which is kind of a bummer, but this is one of the first things we will fix. What you want... Okay, anyway. Boy, I'm getting all over myself, huh? So back to the quick draw. So the principle is walk toward the enemy, don't run, okay? Pretend like this rifle is a very large pair of scissors. So if you're anticipating meeting an enemy, walk, don't run. If you're walking, chances are everyone runs here. So if you're walking, you have a huge advantage. First of all, your rifle does more damage than any other support weapon does. And the damage per second is pretty atrocious, is really amazing as well. So, walk, don't run. Pretend it's like a big pair of scissors. Now, obviously, if you're getting shot, you want to get to cover, run to cover. But if you're going to be assaulting a position, hit your shield, use your shield, walk, don't run. Now, see, I died there, and it would have been felt safer to have run. However, if I ran, I probably would have died anyway. As it was, I put out like 600-700 damage on the enemy, because each shot does between 200 and 167 damage per hit. So this rifle at maximum distance is doing more damage than most rifles at minimum distance. Okay, at minimum distance, this thing is just... This is one of the closest things to self-loading artillery you will encounter in the game. It's like, you want something else, you're going to have to strap it to a vehicle, you know, again, or a max. Alright. It's like, and even that max down there, I mean, he is feeling this thing. Okay, we better get out of here, because it'll be an issue. We take forever to reload. By the way, it's one of the longest reload times in the game. Okay, we are taking too much damage. We don't have good cover. Let's get up here with the other guys. Whoops, sorry guys. Don't get in front of your buddies. Okay, so our job is to lay down, as a heavy assault, our job is to lay down accurate support fire. Accurate suppressing fire. Okay, so the idea is... I could have waited for him to heal. Okay, so we need to defend this. So, to lay down the accurate part, you need to learn to feather or tap your gun. Otherwise, again, especially at these distances, the spread of your weapon just becomes too great. Now, on vehicles or a big target like that, it's not so critical. You can just rip. You can just let it rip. But on smaller... Okay, now I only have 21 bullets. Be aware of that. It's not good to reload right now, because 21 bullets is a lot of... 21 bullets is like 4,000 damage. That's a lot of death. You don't have to reload there. And see, when that guy came over the hill, I had 20 bullets left to pump into him. So that was a lot more than if I had just been reloading and had nothing to give, okay? So the principle is it's better to give than to receive. So, and we like giving and try and give till it hurts. The thing is you want to fire in short bursts. That makes you accurate. The thing with this, the best thing about this gun is a short burst really is enough to put the hammer to infantry flies a lot faster than what a lot of people realize. It's like, this is just a really devastating, like I say, the hammer. This has been PlanetSide 2 Rise Through the Ranks. Your host, Eric Talon87. Thank you for joining us. We'd also like to send a special thank you to our subscribers and our regular viewers. Thank you.